What is going on, guys? It's your boy Void here, and today I want to talk about investing. So, investing can be a really powerful tool, but unfortunately, we don't learn about it in school, and some of us didn't have the privilege of learning about it until later on, or perhaps you still haven't. Fortunately, I had the privilege of working at pretty big companies, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, and talking to coworkers about how they manage their money, how they like to invest, what they typically buy, and I've learned a lot of jargon from them. So I want to give you guys access to those resources that I was fortunate enough to have. The first thing I want to talk about and just get out of the way is the jargon of shares, positions. There's a few other words you can call it, but basically, when you buy a stock, share, or position, you're buying a fraction of a company. So, I'm going to show 3 easy ways that you can start investing if you don't have any experience, or even if you do have experience. These are just 3 really easy ways to get started. So, the first of those is Robinhood. So Robinhood is a platform that lets you buy and sell stock. The reason I like to recommend this is because, one, it has really nice UI, it's really easy to use, and it's intuitive. 2, it has a lot of user base right now, which gives it a little bit more credibility. 3, it's simple to use and it's on your cell phone. The app is really, really good. Sure, brokerages also have apps, but brokerages are finance companies first, and having an app is an extra thing to them. Robinhood is a very technology driven company, so its app is usually up to date and very reliable. So, if you go into here, Robinhood lets you drill down into the daily, weekly, monthly, 3 months, and 1 year and all time performance. And that just shows you how your portfolio is performing over time. So I bought my first share, I guess November 18th, 2016. And it's at a 40% return right now, which is kind of ridiculous. I don't expect it to keep at a 40% rate, but hopefully it does. All the stocks that I have in this portfolio are over here on the right side. I also have a watch list down here of stocks that I'm interested in. So if you're new and you just opened up your Robinhood account, you're probably not going to have anything in here. And that's okay. You got to start somewhere. So you have to deposit a little bit of cash into here. That way you can get your hands on your first shares and you can start investing. So we're going to go over to cash, and here it's going to have this transfer box. It lets you choose where you transfer from. If you don't have a bank account linked, you're going to have to link an account. Let's say I wanted to transfer $50 to Robinhood. I'd click review transfer. I'd click submit. And this can take a few days to transfer the money, but Robinhood has a feature that lets you instantly use $1,000 of that. So if you see here, I already have $41.15 in cash, because this is the second take of my video. But I'm just going to use this $41.15 to invest instead of this $50. For you, you would want to click submit if you don't have any money in your Robinhood account. Cool. So now that I have $41.15 in my account, I can go on over to portfolio and I can either buy more stock of stuff that I already have. I can look at my watch list, buy something from there. Or if I know the ticker symbol, I can search it. So I know Microsoft is MSFT. So MSFT right there. Or I could go down and hit one of these tabs. So 100 most popular is a pretty good place to start because it gives you all these giant companies that are relatively safe. So here I found a bunch of companies, and I'm going to click Microsoft just because I like them. So click Microsoft, and oh wow, that stock is that's kind of expensive. So I only have 41.15, but it's 212. Does that mean I can't buy any Microsoft stock? Well, no, not necessarily. Here, I can either buy like whole shares, or I can buy dollars worth of shares. So if I were to buy $41.15 of Microsoft stock, I'm effectively buying 1/5 of a share. And then I can click review order, and I can actually purchase my 1/5 of a share of Microsoft stock. So when do you start making money? How do you know if it's a good stock? And yeah, so there are a lot of things you can look at when picking stocks. Some people like to look at the market cap. Some people like to look at their price earnings ratio. Some people like to look at the company's financial reports. All of these are pretty valid ways of doing it. Some people also just like to invest based off of what they personally think will be a good investment and will grow in the future. There are stocks that are safer than others, Microsoft being one of them, because generally they've just gone up and they've performed very, very well over the past 5 years. 300% return is kind of ridiculous. But yeah, then you also have you don't want to time the market though. So timing the market means you don't want to try to optimize every dollar. You don't want to wait for the bottoms or for the crashes. And there's going to be people that say, "Oh, it's about to crash. Oh, the election's coming up. Like, you shouldn't buy now. Wait for it." All that stuff. Generally, it's best to just buy whenever you can afford to, whenever you want to. Let it sit there, forget about it for a while, and then you can sell it later on whenever you plan to retire or if you need the money. So, now that you know how to buy a stock, you know a little bit about buying fractional shares. What do you do if you don't want to do all this research? It's a lot of work. This leads me to number 2. So there's something called an index fund, and this allows you to diversify a lot. So an index fund is something like SPD. No. Yeah, here we go. So this is a portfolio of 500 of the biggest companies in the US, and it just has a little bit of each of those. So you'll notice that in the last 5 years, it has a really good return. Each year, it generally has a 7% return on average, or 10% return on average. 7% is a conservative number if you're trying to play it safe. And this is a lot safer just because you own a little bit of each company. If you were to put all your money into a company that performed poorly, then you could end up losing a lot of money. This is a great way to start investing if you don't want to do a lot of research yourself and you want a safe investment that will grow on average at a 7% return. Cool. So now that we know a little bit about index funds, where do I find index funds? How do I find them on Robinhood? Well, it isn't too hard actually. You can literally look up index fund. I recommend looking up something like S&P 500. And you get all these different index funds. Usually if it has different names in it, like bull 3 times or short-term futures, that's not exactly the same thing, you want to go with one of like these top 3 ones. This is the one I just showed you guys, the SPY. You can also look at the Vanguard one, and its performance is generally the same because they both track the top 500 companies. Once you buy that index fund or that stock, you'll be able to track your performance here. It's not going to grow every day. You're going to go down some days. You're going to go up some other days. You just have to let it sit there. Don't invest money that you're going to need next month, next 2 months, because the market could go down in that time. And you want to make sure that you don't have to sell at a loss. Another cool thing about Robinhood, before I go on to step 3, is this free stocks option. So it doesn't just give you free stocks. It's not that good. But it does give you free stocks once. So if you use my referral link down below, you and I can both get a free stock from you signing up. And this is really good because it's like a free trial essentially. You don't have to put any of your own money into it, but you're getting a free stock that you can play around with. And if you've never invested before, this is really, really good because you get to gain a little bit of familiarity without risking anything. There is zero risk to it. So if I go back to my portfolio, here's a free stock that I got from a referral, WPX. And sure, I don't know anything about this company. I don't know if it'll perform well. But because it cost me $0 to get this share, I'm up $6.23. That's really nice if you want a free trial, if you want to have a free share of something without putting any of your own money into it. Go ahead and use that referral link. You don't have to, but it'd be really cool. So let's go on to number 3. The third thing that I want to talk about is a different platform altogether. It's called the Roth IRA. The Roth IRA allows you to contribute $6,000 per year if you're under the age of, I believe it's 55, if you're under 55. And the cool thing about this account, it's basically the same thing. It's holding all your stocks or your index funds in a bucket. And that bucket is going to give you some tax advantages on top of it. It's going to let you pull that money out one day without paying any taxes on it, which is really, really nice because not having to pay taxes is great. And you do end up paying taxes whenever you invest that money initially, because if your paycheck is $1,500 after taxes, you've already paid your taxes. That's what this account is about. You're contributing your post-tax paycheck money to buy stuff in this account. I'll have a separate video on Roth IRAs altogether just because they're such a powerful tool. But if you really want to get the maximum gains and returns, the Roth IRA is what you want to do. Generally, people like to choose either Vanguard, Fidelity, or Charles Schwab because they have the lowest expense ratios, which is a fee that they charge for holding your accounts for you. You can put anything in them also. So you can put, like if I wanted to put Microsoft in here, I could do that. I don't choose to do that because I like safe investing and I like to put index funds into here. Not saying Microsoft isn't safe, but I like to have some diversification. Cool. So if you get anything at all out of this video, it's please open up a Roth IRA or Robinhood, whatever you feel comfortable with, and just start learning right now. That's really the best thing you can do for yourself at this point in time. I do want to show you guys one last thing before I sign off this video. If I were to put $6,000 into my investments, and I got a conservative 7% return on that over 29 years. I'm 21, so in 29 years I'll be 50. And I just let that grow for 29 years, and the interest compounds annually. That $6,000 turns into $42,000. So the numbers are here. You guys have the information. I'm going to put the links down below. That way you guys can start opening these accounts. Time really is money whenever it comes down to this stuff. So please open up accounts. It's for your own good, and start learning as much as you can. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, please leave a subscribe, and please, most importantly, open up some accounts and start your investing journey. Thanks, guys.